If you're an Elton John fan, even if you're not, you're probably familiar with the album A Single Man. Came out in the late 70s. Elton, the big Elton, the $60 million man, Captain Fantastic, was starting to fade. He changed producers on A Single Man. The engineering was done by Stuart Epps, who's our guest. But there was a particular incident on that album for a big hit single that wasn't really big in North America, but big worldwide. A Song for Guy from A Single Man, Stuart Epps on Rock History Music, talking about Elton John.
Absolutely, yeah. I engineered Single Man. Definitely,
Yeah.
that was the first. That was the first album that he did at the Mill, and that was actually my mate Clive Franks was producing that and playing bass on it. And
I find that's a very underrated record. I love that record.
well, yeah, I mean, I haven't apart from "Song for Guy," which I tend to hear. It's probably played on the radio somewhere in the world right now. You know, it's such a popular track. And I've got a crazy story that goes with that when we were recording that, which I've recounted many times. I could recount it again, but
Yes, please.
Song for Guy, like I say, is, well, like we know, has become a classic. And so I'll tell you the story, which is a bit mad, because we were recording Single Man and Clive was producing, I was engineering at the Mill, and everything was going well. But on this particular day, Elton came in and at some point through the day he said, look, I've just got this idea of a track I want to put down I don't know if he said song or instrumental, but he said, I want to put something down before I go home tonight. It's in my head. So yeah, we said, all right, fine. Anyway, it got pretty late. I know, for us it was 10 o'clock or something, 11 o'clock. Everyone's gone home or going home. And Elton suddenly says, oh, I've forgotten. I want to put this thing down. He says, it'll only take a minute, only take a minute. Always beware of that phrase, only take a minute. So anyway, so there's Clive and me and Elton. There's only the three of us in the whole building. So I put some tape on. I thought, well, I'll put some multi-track on because who knows? It's Elton John. It might be something important. You never know. Anyway, I put a bit of multi-track on. He goes out there, starts playing this thing, and it's obviously an instrumental. He's not singing. I might have set up a vocal mic, but it's da 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 da. Anyway, he only gets a little way, and then he makes a mistake. Anyway, not to worry, not to worry. I look down at the machine, I wind it back, and off we go again. He makes another mistake. Well, he kept making mistakes, and now he's getting a bit annoyed with himself because he said it would only be a minute, and he's starting to get a bit annoyed and because it's a bit tricky chord wise, I guess. Anyway, so it's now taking quite a lot of time. He's getting a bit act off, but on this particular take, he's going away and he's roaring away and he hasn't made a mistake for ages. And I look down at the tape machine and I think, well, it wasn't a full reel. It was only part of a reel, and we're going at 30 inches per second here, so it's roaring away. But how long can this thing be? It can't be that long. I thought 3 minutes. Anyway, it's not looking great because he doesn't have. It doesn't seem any signs of him stopping. It's just going da 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 da. And now I look down at the tape machine, and blow me down, there's not a ton left. So now we're thinking of the scenario that I run out of tape. He hasn't finished the song, and it's the first time in its whole existence that he's played it through without a mistake. What is likely to happen there is we could be killed. He'll go totally bananas. He'll smash the place up. So now I'm really looking at the machine, trying to gauge how much is left, looking at Elton to asking Clive, does he look like he's going to stop? Do you reckon that, we're like 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes? I don't know. Anyway, the two of us are now sweating all over the place. I'm looking at the machine, and I don't know if you've ever worked 24 track, but you almost can't see how much tape is left. It's like running on empty. It's like when your fuel gauge is going. And we're just going mad because it's unthinkable that I'm going to run out of tape for the very first time. Anyway, it's not any word of a lie. He finishes the last chord, and as the last chord dies away, the tape runs out. The tape runs out, and we run out. We fall on the floor in exhaustion or this pain suddenly leaves us, that we managed to get this piano track down on this bit of tape, and that's how it started. And that was the master tape of the first piano track that went on tape, and that instrumental just built into this pretty good instrumental. A pretty good, whatever you'd call it. He doesn't write many instrumentals,
but he's mumbling, isn't he? Mumbling along at near the end of.
But he's not. No, for some reason. Well, it's not for some reason. He wrote it because he wrote it for a person called Guy. Okay. Now, there's some ridiculous things that go along with this record, because at the same time, there was a gorilla that died at London Zoo, and his name was Guy. He was Guy the gorilla, which everyone knew about in the UK. So we thought that he wrote it for Guy the gorilla who died. But it wasn't Guy the gorilla. It was actually a young boy called Guy who had died on his motorbike, who worked for Rocket Records. And so Elton was writing it for him and put it in his honor. And at some point he wanted it to say, life isn't everything. That's what he just wanted to say, that in the somewhere instrumental, life isn't everything, which we thought was a bit weird. But so actually we thought, well, that's just going to sound weird if it's just him going, life isn't everything. So we tried all sorts of effects and tried it backwards, but anyway, in the end, that's what he's saying, life isn't everything. And well, it was one of those moments really that I've had quite a few of in my career, where someone starts something off in the studio that seems pretty nothingy, you don't know, and it goes on. And that's definitely one of them, because we're talking about, I don't know how many years, that's 40 years or something ago. And like I say, they'll still play it on the radio. In fact, I was at this club, only a beautiful club just up the road, and someone's come out of dinner. He's obviously a bit piddled, and there's a piano there, and he starts playing Elton John, Your Song, which I thought, well, that's not bad. Well, then he launches into Song for Guy, and I just had to go up to him and I said, come on now, you've done it now, because he's over the river, and I've got to tell him the history of it. I didn't tell him this story because I think he was trying to impress his girlfriend, actually. But yeah, Song for Guy.
We'll have more from Stuart Epps coming up the next few days. Remember, he produced so many people, engineered a lot of people. He was the engineer on the Coda album with Jimmy Page. Worked with The Firm, Twisted Sister, Elton John, Paul Rogers, Jimmy Page, and a host of others. If you want to get produced by him, he is available. Go to his website, stuartepps.co.uk. Remember, subscribe to our channel. We always love it when you join our team. Like our videos, spread the word, spread the videos on social media, and comment on them as well. I'm John Beaudin. This is Rock History Music.